Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to be making bread. Do you know, making your own bread is absolutely lovely. It tastes so much nicer than the stuff you get in the supermarket, and it's quite simple. So there's 3 stages to it: mixing, shaping and baking. So let's get straight on with stage 1. The ingredients are really simple, just 4: flour, salt, yeast and water. Now in my bowl I've already put 10 grams of salt, which is about a teaspoonful, and 500 grams of strong bread flour. So now I'm going to add the yeast. You can get it in a tin like this, or you can get it in little sachets like that, and that's measured out 7 grams of yeast. So I'm going to use a little sachet. Let's just pop it in the top there. I've cleaned my hands really well. You have to do that before you start because it's a very manual thing. And then I'm going to put in 300 millilitres of just plain cold water. In it goes. Alright, now I'm going to mix it around. You've just got a simple old spatula and you just start in the bowl, mixing it round and round like this until it just starts to come together. You see, when it's starting to form a rough, messy load of flour and water in the bowl, scrape it out onto your board. Don't forget, as well as cleaning your hands, clean the surface you're going to cook on. And then we're just, first of all, just going to press it down like this, slightly pushing it away from you, just picking up all those bits like this. Keep turning it round. Now I'm going to just sort of gather all those crumbs together, push it down until it comes together into one lump. You don't have to be too careful at the moment, it's just quite simple, because what I'm going to do now is knead it for about 5 minutes. Now kneading is stretching the molecules in the dough so that they make a little net that catches all the air and makes it puff up. So you push it away from you. In fact, what you can do is hold it with one hand and push it away with the other hand, and then roll it back up, turn it round, hold it, push it away again. Now I'm doing this really slowly, but actually it's better if you can get a bit of speed. Now what I normally do is I just push, roll and turn, push, roll and turn, and keep going like that for about 5 minutes until it's smooth and silky. Okay, so I've been kneading this for about 5 minutes now, and you can see how it's come together. It's all nice and smooth. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get just a few drops of oil into my bowl, pop the bread in and whiz it around like that, press it down, and I'm going to put a clean, damp tea towel over the top. You could put some cling film if you like, but a clean, damp tea towel will do the job. Now I'm going to put this aside for at least an hour, better an hour and a half. You could even leave it for 2 hours. And in true Brew Peter style, here's one I did earlier. Can you see how soft it is now and fluffy? Beautiful. So now I'm just going to put just a little tiny sprinkle of flour, not too much, on the board. And because we put the oil in, it just tips straight out of the bowl like that. And now I'm going to gently press all those bubbles out of the dough and spread it out, because now we're into stage 2, which is shaping. Now I'm going to show you a few things today. So I'm going to cut that in half, put this to one side for a minute. We'll just use this half, and we're going to make an ordinary loaf out of it. So I press the thing out. Now imagine this is 12 o'clock. I'm going to pull it out and push it into the middle. Now I go to the next corner, pull it out, push it into the middle. Pull it out, push it into the middle. Pull it out like that, push it into the middle. Pull that out, push it in the middle. And keep going round. Then I'm going to keep going round the clock like this. And what we're doing here is just tightening the loaf up so that it develops a nice surface tension so that it will cook well as a loaf. Now, when we've reached a stage about like that, I'm going to flip it over, gather a little bit more of this flour underneath, bit on my hands, and then I'm going to, imagine it's like a little bald man. I'm going to put my hands on top of his head and just twist his head round like that. So with one hand I'm going to hold it like that, and the other I'm going to be pushing it underneath, because we're really building up that surface tension and making it into a nice smooth ball. Let's put that to one side. Now I'm just going to pop the bowl over it, and we're going to leave that to rise again for about half an hour to an hour. In the meantime, let's get just a little bit more flour on the board, like that. And let's do some fun things with this other bit of dough that's left. Let's just chop off a couple of bits about that size. And basically we're going to do the same thing, just fold them over on themselves, like that. Now on a less floury bit of board, I'm just going to hold my hand like that and make a little cage with my other hand and roll it round like that, or we could do it on the board, and shape it into a little roll. If you like, you could make the roll long instead of round. Just roll it round like that, roll it like a sausage, shape it like that. Let's do one more. Let's do an ordinary roll. Fold it round underneath it on itself, put it on your hand, roll it round like it's in a little cage with your other hand. There we are. A couple of rolls, kind of like a hot dog roll. Right, now I'm just going to get a little tin and put these on the tin like that. I've just got a clean pedal pin bag, and I can put that in there. You don't want the bag to touch the rolls. We'll put that also to one side. Last bit of dough, I'm going to make a pizza with this. I showed you very quickly at the end last time a lovely pizza that we made. Here's the dough, slightly bigger, and once again we just shape it, and we're going to put that aside because we want it to relax again. So I'm going to put another bowl just over there. So here's our loaf. Let's start with that. First of all, we're just going to give a little spray with water, not too much. If you haven't got a spray bottle, you could just get a little water, clean hands, shake a bit of water off your fingers onto it. You don't need a lot. And get a little bit of flour and sprinkle it over the top, dry flour. Give it a little wipe. And then we're going to make some slashes in it. In fact, before I do that, I'm going to put it on its board. I'm going to put it in the tin, very gently, lift it up, pop it in. Going to make 1, 2, 3 nice slashes in the top. That allows, while it's puffing up in the oven, the steam to escape and it not to tear. Now let's come to the rolls, shall we? Because we'll put these in the oven at the same time. Same thing, I've already put them on this little thing, so I'm going to give a little spray of water. The long roll, I'm just going to do with flour again. Now these two, I'm going to put some seeds on the top. I've got some sunflower seeds here. And just pop them over like that and gently tap them in. This one, I'm going to put a few sesame seeds. You don't have to do this. Poppy seeds would do nice if you've got them, but if you haven't got any seeds, these are just as nice if you just put a little flour on the top. There we are. But now you've got a sesame seeded bun all ready for a burger, haven't you? Okay, let's go and pop them in the oven. So here we are at the oven. I've already heated it up to 200 degrees, and in the bottom of the oven I've got a heavy tray, and I'm going to put in some cold water. What that does is it creates a little bit of steam in the oven, which gives it a nice crust on the bread. Right, so let's put our loaf in there, and let's put our rolls in there, and we're going to cook them for about half an hour. And now we're going to make a lovely pizza. Look at this lovely bit of dough that we put aside. Now with this dough, it's all lovely and soft now, so I'm going to very gently start stretching it like that. Stretching it on the board, that's why I put plenty of flour down. So when you've got it like this shape and you want to make it a little bit bigger, we're going to stretch it from underneath. So I've got my hands underneath and I'm just very gently easing it out into a slightly larger shape like that. Now it might seem a bit odd that I've got a frying pan here, but it's a little trick I learned a few years ago. It really helps, especially when you're cooking a pizza at home. The commercial pizza ovens get up to a huge temperature, so it cooks the bottom really quickly, which a normal domestic oven doesn't do. So I'm just going to get that pan nice and hot. And then I'm going to put the pizza dough carefully into the pan like that. And what this is going to do is it's going to start cooking the bottom, so you get that nice crusty bottom of your pizza. And while that's happening, we'll put the toppings on. So here we've got some of that lovely sauce that we made last time. I told you to come in useful. So that's the first thing we do. We just gently spoon that sauce onto our pizza. Leave an edge, don't take it right to the edge. Leave a bit of crust. And you see it starting to puff up. You just want to gently cover the pizza with the sauce like that. Now I'm using my nose because I just want to check how it's cooking underneath. I'm just going to get this little palette knife underneath and check to see how it's doing. Can you see it's just browning very gently underneath the pizza? So now we can carry on. We've got the tomato sauce on. The next thing is we're going to put some cheese. This is just ordinary strong cheddar. I actually grated a little bit of parmesan in with it as well, but if you haven't got that, just use a bit of cheddar. You don't want too much, and that will go on there. Now we're going to put a few toppings on. I've just got a few little slivers of onion. Now, can you see I'm not adding too much? People tend to overload pizzas, and then it doesn't allow the pizza space to cook. So let your pizza breathe. Just a few bits of pepper there, and then I'm going to put a bit more cheese. This time it's some mozzarella cheese, which goes lovely and melty. I'm going to actually turn it off now because I don't want it to overdo underneath. It does quite quickly. And then I'm going to put a little sprinkle of herbs, dried mixed herbs over the top. Just makes it lovely. There we are. Now it's time to put it in the oven. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to very gently transfer this onto the pizza tray, and then I'm going to put it in the oven or under the grill so that we cook the top. It won't take very long, but it's again 200 and it'll be lovely. So we're going to put that in the top of the oven there. Okay, can you see it steaming? This is cooking away lovely. Now I'm cooking it actually under the grill setting because we've already cooked the bottom of the pizza in the frying pan. But you could easily just put this in a hot oven and it will cook beautifully. Wow, doesn't that look gorgeous? That's been about 5 minutes in the top of the grill, and I think it's ready, so let's take it out and give it a go. So here's our pizza. Doesn't it look nice? You see it's all nicely crisp underneath like that. And this has cost us a fraction of what it would cost to buy a hand-stretched pizza from the supermarket. So let's just cut ourselves a slice. Look at that. Okay, and these have had actually about 25 minutes, these rolls, but look at those. Don't they look nice? In fact, I'm going to get those out now, and I'm going to leave that loaf in there. Just move that up a little. I'll leave that loaf in there just for 5 more minutes. Here are our rolls. I'm just going to check that they're really done. So I just pick them up. Can you hear that? That's a sign when it sounds nice and hollow that it's really well baked. Yep. We'll put them on the rack and let them cool down a bit. Now I can't resist. I've just got to try some. I'm just going to cut across this lovely little roll. Look at that. Oh, let's have another slice. Get a bit of butter on. You should really let it cool down before you eat it, but I'm impatient and it's just too nice. Oh, wow. You know what? I've been doing this for years and it's still a miracle every time. Once you've eaten this, you won't ever go back. And here's the loaf. We finally got that out of the oven. Let's just test it. Lovely, all nice and hollow sounding. That's going to be gorgeous when it's cooled down. Pizza, loaf, rolls, absolutely gorgeous. Okay, thanks for watching. I've really enjoyed doing this with you. Do give it a go. Please give it a go. You'll be amazed at how lovely homemade bread is.